Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel. The Dublin Racing Festival has been and gone, one of the best weekends in the jump racing calendar. We look ahead to what is now fully the rundown to the Cheltenham Festival. We're only a few weeks away, and we've got Betfair Super Saturday at Newbury to cover. We've also got the Kingmaker Novices Chase at Warwick on the Saturday, and some really interesting handicaps and graded action to get stuck into. I'm sure we can find some lovely bets, and we've got some good ground as well. So fingers crossed we can go ahead. I'm joined by the usual trio on my screens, Harry and Lee. I'll come to Harry first. How are you after the Dublin Racing Festival, looking ahead to Newbury on the weekend?
All good. My favourite horse, John Bon, is back out again. He is after Facile Vega, got beat at the weekend. So, listen, we'll put Facile in the bin for now. No, I'm joking. He is. I am the leader of his fan club, and as carry on will be. But John Bon is back out. It'd be really interesting to see how he fares at the weekend. I'm hoping he kicks on and stamps his authority on that Arkle, because obviously the Irish Arkle came out. Al Fabiola was really, really good. And listen, I just really think that John Bon takes a hell of a beating, and hopefully he gives us a right good start to the Tuesday. Obviously, the Supreme is thrown up in the air now after Facile ruined it on Saturday. So
fingers crossed for your John Bon bet, say Harry. Lee. We could be seeing John Bon out on the weekend. We've got the Denman Chase as well to hopefully see some nice 3-mile chasers. So Dublin Racing Festival's gone, but we still got some brilliant graded action.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a dip after these festivals and stuff like that. But no, it's a good weekend. It looks a good card there at Newbury. And we've got a competition running from Racing Tees. They kindly provided these T-shirts. But we've got a John Bon jumper. So I'll get that up tomorrow. And yeah, it should be a good card on the weekend.
It should really be a good card. Fingers crossed there's some bets in there. We're going to quickly cover a little bit of the review action that's just happened. Of course, we mentioned Dublin Racing Festival. We talked a little bit about that in our ante-post video for the Cheltenham Festival, which was released earlier this week. So if you haven't checked that out already, please do go check that out with Dermot Nolan from Race Hour. But Harry, I'll come over to you first. It wasn't just the Dublin Racing Festival. There was other races across the weekend and across the country. But what was potentially your top performance of the weekend?
Yeah, I think the Dublin Racing Festival has probably taken the limelight away from what happened at Sandown. And I was really taken by Ollie Murphy's probably stable star this year, Chasing Fire. He's 3 out of 3 now. His toughest test to date was definitely facing this horse, Illico Dalabate, of a really nice French horse.
Well pronounced.
Really nice pronunciation.
Was that good? Was that good?
Yeah.
It was confident. It was confident. That's all that matters.
That's it. Listen, that's the GCC French coming back to life. We're at it every week now. I'm nailing them. But no, that was a really nice horse of Paul Nicholls. I think he could be really smart. He bolted in on debut at Taunton, and to beat him the way he beat him was pretty taking, given he was giving him weight as well. Aidan Coleman, in his post-race interview, basically said he knew he'd win. It was just basically just getting him round. He looks a proper live wire now, I think, for the Supreme. He could be absolutely anything. He's 16-1 best price now. He looks like an each-way bet to nothing, I think, in a wide-open Supreme. And listen, Ash, they said to us he's a proper Grade 1 horse. He's won by 16 lengths twice, and his last one was 6 lengths. Now, Ash, I don't know whether you think, Lee, I don't know whether you agree with me. I think he's thrown his hat right into this ring.
Look, he obviously has to be given a chance, and he's 16-1 for the race. So and after the shake-up with Facile Vega on the weekend, it really could be anything. Obviously, he's sort of not got that maybe sexy profile, but the way he's won his races, he's won it in a sexy way. So, like, I guess he's covering that by winning quite well. I personally haven't looked too closely into the race because I was sort of caught up in all the Irish stuff, but I'll take a closer look while Lee speaks. Yeah, that's the translation. Irish stuff equals Guinness. But yeah, Lee, I don't know if you looked at this performance. What did you make of it?
I thought he was really slick over his hurdles. I thought he jumped really well and powered away to the line. Like Harry says, he looks like he's threw his hat into the ring. Obviously, there's a few bombed out. Facile being one, but look, at the top of the market, it's a little bit iffy, and definitely for the home team anyway. There's definitely a live contender there, but yeah, look, it was a good performance, and if you watch back, he he hurdled really well.
And just another one, Ash. Just a quick one. Sorry, mate. I mean, Ollie did have a second and third in the Supreme. He obviously had Brewing Up a Storm, and I'm sure I can't remember the third horse.
Same colours of the owners. I can't remember.
Yes, that's right. It might have been Thomas Darby. Thomas Darby.
Yeah.
Yes. Now listen, if you watch Chasing Fire, he's so lazy. He's so lazy over his hurdles, and Aidan Coleman just has to give him a little bump in the saddle every now and then. But when he picks up, Ash, he is a proper horse. I'm telling you, point winner. He's got stamina in abundance. He'll need that going up the hill. I am proper. The more I talk about him, the more confident I get in. So I don't know what your best performance of the weekend was.
Well, I have to say, I sort of like linking the two horses together. Chasing Fire did sort of jump a little bit out to his right, coming down the home straight. Again, maybe not lending itself to Cheltenham. And one horse who also did that was Gaelic Warrior. I thought his performance in Leopardstown was really, really good in the Liffey Handicap Hurdle. I said after his Munster Hurdle win, as much as people didn't want to hear it because he beat, what did he beat now? JP McManus horse, can't remember his name.
Sorry.
There was Blue Sari, yes, thank you very much. People didn't want to hear it, that he was jumping out to his right and he may have just beaten absolutely nothing, but I was really taken by his performance, and I was taken by his Munster Hurdle performance, and just looking at him, he's just like, God, you take your eye out. And if you ever met him down the back alley of a street on a dark night, I tell you, there's only one winner in that situation. It's Gaelic Warrior 12 times in a week. You know, like he's a big old fella, but he's got some good speed about him now. And you know, there's half a mind in me now which thinks he's going to go down the Supreme route. Like I know William Owens has come out and said preferred route is, you know, Ballymore. He even mentioned the County Hurdle if he got away with murder, and I think 153 is his Irish mark. So yeah, you probably want to go to the County Hurdle. Ballymore is said to be preferred, but God, you'd be like hearing around the murmurs of the parade ring after he won, and there was like some nice sort of like whispers there, thinking, oh, I think he could go to the Supreme here. Like I think I looked at it earlier. William Hill were 9-2 non-runner money back for the Supreme. Like when most firms ante-post were like 4-1, 5-1. Like you can knock non-runner no bet in some cases, but you really can't knock that. And like, look, if you want one, because you'll definitely, I think personally, it'll be a lot shorter on the day. If you want one for the Supreme, potentially take the non-runner money back, and it would be non-runner money back, Gaelic Warrior for the Supreme.
Ash, what price do you reckon? Gaelic Warrior turns up, Paul Townend chooses him over Facile Vega.
Yeah. But does he? Would he choose Facile Vega?
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying, would he, if he chose Gaelic Warrior over Facile Vega, what price? Because there's no way he'd be 9-2. There is no chance.
Yeah, I'd say twos, maybe 7-4.
He's got to got a favourite surely there.
And he was backed. He was backed before the off as well, by the way, Liffey Handicap Hurdle. He was 2-1 in the week, obviously then declared him, and he was about 7-4. I think he went off 10-11 now. Yeah, so, and that's a big market shift. I don't know, like experienced punters here watching will know that a big market move from 7-4 to 10-11 is bigger than, say, 25-1 into 10s because of the percentage of the market. But for people who may not know, the amount of money it takes to move a horse from that sort of like 7-4, 2-1 into odds on, because of the percentage making up in the market, is a lot. It may not seem that much in sort of how much you win profit wise, but the amount of money to make it move is a lot. So he was backed. He's obviously well regarded. Absolute shoe-in off 143, and he looks a real nice one. Lee, I know you were taken by the performance, weren't you?
Yeah, look, it's the first time I actually thought, look, he's definitely is a Cheltenham contender. I don't like how he shifts out the right, but look, he done it against Brazil last year, the Boodles, and obviously nearly wiped out half the field at times. But look, I just thought it was a solid performance off that weight, and yeah, he beat them easily, didn't he? So, yeah.
He beat them rather well. What was your performance of the week, though? Because I know it's a different horse.
Mine's my beloved Jezza, Jerry Klum, in the silly years. Look, I just thought conditions weren't too suit the best, and I just thought he put up a solid performance. I think he was fourth after our first few fences. He then took it up. He kind of got into one, but then the way he seen it out was just screamed Brown advisory for me. Look, the runner-up, but Balton Coastal had won easily the time before, and I thought he ran a solid performance. I know Harry liked that performance as well, but even Thunder Rock gives a credible performance. I don't think it was the strongest of grade ones, but he only done what he can, do. Monmoral was bombed out. That was the only horse that I thought was very disappointing. But the three in front were Solid horses, and yeah, Jerry stayed on best, and luckily Gordon says that he's going to the Brown Advisory, so I think that'll suit best.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm gonna sort of not gonna beat around the bush and say like a lot of different horses. Like I'm not gonna mention all the graded winners. Like, oh, these were good performances. I'm gonna highlight my better ones. Shock Horror, Mighty Potters at the top of that list. I've been limited to 30 seconds talking about him. We've had a contract signed that I'm only limited to 30 seconds talking about him.
If
Yeah,
that.
he was really nice, and like he missed a couple of fences. I think the one going away from the stands on his final circuit, he sort of missed that one. But he did that in the Drinmore, and I think what's key to him is the way he's able to pick himself up, dust himself off, and carry on going. I genuinely think I could watch his second last fence. I could watch that and repeat. I really think I could watch that for days on end. He was just, he was pinpoint now. He was really good. I was watching it this morning. He was great.
Can I jump in? I think that I think he missed like one or two, like you say, but it was because he was trying to get a bit cover and he was in behind. Once he seen that daylight, like you say, that fence, that was it. He flew them in it. Oh, it was very impressive, wasn't it?
When he gets it right.
That's just one more. I've just found something. 16-1 on the exchange if you fancy Gaelic Warrior.
Well, for the Supreme?
For the Supreme, yeah. 16-1.
Win only potentially there. Yeah, but Mighty Potter obviously tops that list, and I won't mess around with the other horses in here because I all thought there's plenty that were good there. I'll give you one that actually didn't win, but I feel like could win a handicap very soon. It's a handicap hurdle. Yeah, drops down to a mark of 140. Absolutely sluices up. No, 340 on Saturday, Leopardstown. The one won by the Gavin Cromwell, JP McManus, Percival. Legois. There you go. There's a lesson how not to pronounce horses. But you know the horse I'm talking about. The horse that finished fifth, Gatsby Grey, was actually, and here's a bit more Mighty Potter form for you there. He was second to Mighty Potter at the Punchestown Festival when Sir Gerhard and Dynamo bombed out, and he was 4 lengths behind Mighty Potter. Only got a mark of 139 over in Ireland. He really stayed on. He really, really stayed on. Really, really liked this performance. It was over 3 miles. He showed a good turn of foot down the home straight. He's not qualified for anything like a Patems, so I don't think he'll be going there. If he goes to Cheltenham, like you give him a squeak in a Coral Cup for sure. Like he's not short of that speed, but they may keep him for something like Punchestown or Aintree. But I think Gatsby Grey can be really dangerous off his current mark.
Actually, I want to just big up Only Fools Love Horses, yeah, because the 3 horses that we put up near the start of the season was Mighty Potter, you put up for the Turners, Harry put up John Bon for the Arkle, and I put up Jerry Clum for the Brown Advisory, and the 3 of them are now favourite for the 3 Novice Chasers. So you know what? If you're not watching us by now, what are you doing, you know?
It was very nice, I must say. We'll move on then to looking ahead to this weekend. We've got some great action, as we've mentioned. And the Grade 2 Denman Chase is where we're going to start at Newbury. It is Newbury Super Saturday, as I mentioned, sponsored by Betfair. I will be there. Went there last season. It was a brilliant day. Glory and fortune, the Betfair Hurdle. Oi, oi.
Yes.
But as we mentioned, the Grade 2 Denman Chase, Hitman topping the market, 13-8. Paul Nicholls, Harry Cobden, last seen and pulling up in the King George. Eldorado Allen, the consistent horse of the season. I think if you could have an MVP for the season, or just like like if it, in football, if it was like the manager's player or like the player's player, like the one that's not like the best player, but it's like everyone loves him. Eldorado Allen 5-2, he'd be winning that award 9 times over. Fanny and Destravel, Venetia Williams 9-2. Does he know? Will be going to this race. Messaged Kim Bailey earlier today. He will be going to the Denman Chase. Was entered for, or still is entered, sorry, for the Grand National Trial at Haydock the week after. He's 6s, Sam Brown 8s. I will do it 10-1. That'll be him getting qualified for the Grand National because he's not run enough races over the required distance, and he can have what you like about the rest. Harry, I'm going to come to you first. Hitman tops the market. He's entered actually for a fair few more races in the weeks after, so it'd be interesting to see if he actually takes in this race. He's entered for the Ascot Chase next week and the week after the Coral Trophy Handicap Chase at Kempton. Would you be having a bet in this race at this early stage?
I did back Eldorado Allen when the prices came out at 10-3. I thought that was a little bit too big. Bearing in mind just the fact that Hitman was reported to have bled from the nose in the King George, so that would be a little negative for me. He's 13-8. He's rated 160, so he's not officially the best horse in the race. I think he's priced probably a little bit too short for my liking. So I have taken Eldorado Allen to take him on 5-2 now. So I'm glad it's came in. He's 1-1 at Newbury. He won this race last year, and Clander Zobo was in there that day. The Rasher Counter, Royal Pagaille, who obviously will win the Gold Cup in March. Then he absolutely bolted in Eldorado Allen. He absolutely sluiced in that day. So I think he could quite easily go 2-2 here. There's no such thing as Clander Zobo in this race. As I said, Hitman bled from the nose last time. Fanny and Destraval. Listen, he needs to put a proper good performance in for my eyes. His run at Weatherby, he was beat by Into Overdrive, who's a decent handicapper. Lamilos, he was tanked by him. And listen, he's not won since. I think he actually won the last time he won was at Newbury. So that's a little bit interesting for me, but I will do it in there. He wants, obviously, that extreme test. So I think you might find a little bit outclassed in this. So is Correct Rambler. But no, it's definitely Eldorado Allen in this. He's one of my most confident selections this week.
Yeah, I'd weigh in with you, I think, on this. It's sort of almost guarantees he's going to go for this race. I think he's a knock-in bet at 5-2. He's been really, really consistent, just being that grade 1 level all season. He has been grade 1 quality. Like, as much as people might say, like, oh, grade 1 horses are horses that are winning these grade 1s, like, he's been there. He's been finishing second in the Betfair Chase. He ran a fair race now in the King George. Before that, he was second, Charlie Hall. I know that's a grade 2, but that was a grade 1, wasn't it, now with a Hoy Senior and Brave Man's Game obviously winning the race. Third in last year's Ryanair. Like, he's a solid horse. And, like, I think this is sort of like, this is his race. He won it last season. And I'd be weighing in with you personally, Eldorado Allen. Lee, would you be siding with us in the Eldorado Allen boat, or Hitman top of the market? Does that take any of your interest?
I'm on the boat, lads.
I'll tell you what, this will be a short show today, this one.
Look, I just think...
Everyone starts laying the horse now. Yeah. All three of us are on lay.
It's inconclusive that Hitman actually stays the 3 miles. Obviously, he pulled up, so we don't know the last day. But obviously, he hasn't done it over this trip. And like you say, Eldorado Allen is the consistent one. I think he's probably got the best form by behind Protectorate, behind Brave Man's Game and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just thought he was the solid one. What's the other one? What's Venetia's one? Fanny and Destraval, sorry. Yeah, I just think he might want a little bit cutting the ground, stays on from a long way back. Will he just get a bit tapped, and then I don't know if he'll come home as strong. So, yeah, I just think the obvious one is Eldorado Allen. And, yeah, look, over the favourite, I'd rather take him.
Yeah, no, I think it's sort of like there's going to be a case of what horses perform on the ground this week, because it's looking to be quite cold. Sorry?
It'll be like a road. There's no juice in that ground, and apparently they can't do something with the watering system. So it's already good that there's no showers about. It's I think the fuel will get pulled out, to be fair.
Good to firm in February. Has that ever happened?
I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has at some point. But is it good to firm? Is it?
No, that's what I'm saying. I was about to say.
The thing is it's going to be quite cold at night, so they can't really water because they're basically just like setting up for frozen ground. So it's going to be cold the next couple of nights, and there's going to be no rain forecast, so it will be good ground. I think that's sort of one thing you have to look at. And I suppose if you're looking at Hitman, like, his pedigree would suggest that he won't want this good ground, and like, he's never actually raced on good ground. Most of his form's on soft, good to soft, but he's by Falco, who won the French 2000 Guineas, but he was like a heavy ground horse. Out of a Marteline mare, who was also performing on heavy, so very soft ground. So, you'd say Hitman maybe potentially worries there if you're backing him on good ground, even if he goes to the race, because Nichols might just take the sensible option and stay and potentially find some softer ground later on. Excuse me. Grade 2, Game Spirit Chase, the next race we'll cover. It's 3 o'clock at Newbury. Another grade 2, 39,000 to the winner. And Greenatine for Paul Nichols, Harry Cobden, 4-7, topping the market. John Bonn is still there, but first preference is the Kingmaker, which we will talk about later. Fernambull Savola, 5s. Elixir de Nuts, 7s. Melistic 7s. Hadder Deso Bow 10-1, but I think his first preference is also the Kingmaker, Mortlach 50s and Fastbuck 80s. Harry, short conversation. Is it Greenatine and we move on?
Yeah, it's simple as I don't think John Bon will go. Obviously, I think the ground is good to soft officially at Warwick, so obviously preference is going to be for there. Looks ideal ground there. It's never going to be bad ground at Warwick unless it absolutely throws it down. So, listen, Grenadine is the class act in the race. You look at it and you think what could beat it. Fernando Civila has been disappointing recently since last April. I mean, he's been beaten 23, 36 and 21 lengths respectively. Now, if Grenadine can't win this, I don't think you'd be looking to back him in another grade 2 race or even more. So Nichols is still going good guns at the minute. He's had a few good winners recently as well. So listen, the rest of bar Fernando Civil are all rated in the 140. So you'd think 4 to 7 is an absolute shoe-in.
Absolute shoe-in, Lee. Is it same conclusion for you on Greenatine?
Yeah, well, look, late UC is John Bon, he'll go to Warwick, so will Haddix de Zobo. He won on soft the last day. He'll probably go to Warwick. Fastbuck had a hard race the other day at Sandown, was just pipped by a very canny ride on third time lucky, but he went hard from the front, and that was a hard race to come back from a week later. So, look, there's 3 probably out of the race already. Grenadine probably 4 to 7 is, dare I say, value, but look, it probably is. Look, I can see the race being like a 3 or 4 runner max, and look,
one I would give a little shout to. Sorry, lads. One I would give a little shout to. Mortlach. Now he's 50.
No.
Right. No. He's 50 to 1 at the minute. Now, how many are in there at the minute? 3, 6, 8.
It's 8. 8.
There's 8. So if you back Mortlach at 50 to 1, and John Bon gets withdrew, Haddix de Zobo gets withdrew, that means you're then down to 6.
I don't think they'll run either. So
that's 5. So you're basically waiting on 2 to beat Melistic or Elixir de Nuts, and Melistic, I don't really know about him. And Mortlach, he was only beaten 11 lengths by Stage Star. Ran really well for a good while. Look what Stage Star he came on at 1 at Cheltenham. He ran really well, and now dare I say it, he actually did run really well in the Corto Star. He travelled like a dream turning in. He actually poked his head.
Beaten 52 lengths by time here. Blimey. No, that's a cracker. No, fair play. Get your each way money on.
No. Hear me out. He was actually, if you watch the race.
Have you watched the race, Harry? Have you watched the race?
Paddy Brennan, as soon as he realised those 2 came past him, he was like, right, I'll give up. So he let him coast home. He could run an each way price.
Let's move on.
50 to 1 each way.
Right, yeah, no, I see the case, but I feel like you've picked the wrong form line there. You could just go back and look at his Rising Star Novices Chase second to hang in there. He was a very nifty horse of Emma Lavell's. That was on good to firm. There's your line, Harry. Just pick your moments, all right?
Listen. Lose nothing in defeat, boys.
I like the angle though, Harry, because this won't be 3 places, but it is currently now.
Oh, is it?
And it is 3 places for each way. But I like your angle on that perspective. I don't. No, I'm not saying I don't like the horse, but I'm going a different way. I'd say Melistic deserves his place in this field. Rated 149. Danny McManaman takes the ride. He beat San Segal at Doncaster last day. Really nice performance. Like really, really good. I thought he was very nice. Obviously, been given £3 for his win at Wetherby the time before that at Christmas. And I think he deserves his place here. Like he just jumps really well. Looks like a really game horse. He'll like the good ground. He's won on good the last day. He was second to Gold Ebois. At Kelso on good ground as well. So he deserves his place of nearly. He also gets £6 off Greenatine. I'm not going to say he's going to beat Greenatine, but 7 to 1. He's a knock in each way bet because it'll probably be 5 runners, and then he should be getting into the top 3. So I think he's sort of going to be that level. I know Fernando Cervera won it last year, so he has to sort of come with the same, I guess, perspective on that one. But yeah, I'd say Melistic 7 to 1 wouldn't be the worst each way bet to have an ante-post. Lee, have you spoke about this race, or we moving on?
Yeah, look, I just
keep value. Said value. Good lad. Value.
Keep the horse truck running because this look, your 2 mate as well. Just get back into the van and go home.
So I assume that's green and team there, 4-7. We'll move on then. We'll move on to the Betfair Hurdle highlight race of the weekend. 87,000 to the winner. So it's a very high value handicap hurdle, won last year by I forgot the horse's name. Gloria Fortune. There we go. I've got a photo of Stan Shepherd after it. Come on, Ash. Emmett Mullins, Philly Bay, top of the market, 3-1. Gin Coco, Harry Fry, 6-1 after his second in the Greatwood Hurdle. Please don't remind me. Hacker de Plas, Angus Chalada is booked already, and Chalida, sorry. Paul Nichols, 6-1. Monvial, Philip Hobbs, Tom O'Brien, 8s. No Ordinary Joe, Nicky Henderson, 10s. Same price for Rubard for Paul Nichols, and you have what you like about the rest. Harry, Betfair Hurdle, got a short price Emmett Mullins horse. We've seen this a couple of times this season already. Has been put up. Let's do quick maths in my head. 26 pounds there. I think no, 16 pounds. I think that's the right maths there. 16 pounds since his November win at Doncaster. Would he be one you'd be siding with currently at 3-1, or would you be looking bigger prices about the rest?
It was 23 in at the minute. Would I be taking a 3-1 favourite? No. He off 1-3-3. He could be anything, but beating Hurricane Alley by 6 lengths, who does most of his running round Utoxeter, that won't be enough. Gin Coco.
Are you trying to say Utoxeter's a bad course?
I love the place, and I actually am hoping to be there on Saturday, but it's not a breeding ground of champions, I'm afraid. And usually not the one for the Betfair Hurdle winner. Gin Coco, Harry Fry. Listen, the Cheltenham, the Greatwood has turned out to be not very good this year. Compared to last year, there were winners flying everywhere. This year, it's just not been. The Harbour Lake was in third. First impression, Nina the Terrier, dare I say her name. I was fall off a cliff for that girl. Hacker de Plas is an interesting one in this. Paul Nichols is sweet on this horse. There's one of the lads I know, he's part of the owners group, and he has a little share in this horse, and they were confident, and they really needed to get this horse out because they was pretty much certain it was gonna go in. And off that mark, they knew they had a well handicapped horse. And listen, he's done very, very a lot. He's only run 11 times. He's won 5. He's been second twice, and he's been third twice. So he's literally, out the 11 times, he's only not been out the placings twice. I think that'll stand him in really good stead. Angus takes his 5 off again, so effectively he's off 1-3-7. The mark that he was off last time, I think I was 6-1. He looks an each way bet to nothing. Another one I do like is First Street. For Nicky Henderson off 1-5-2. He's got to carry 12 stone on his back, but the 6 lengths behind Marie's Rock, he travelled like an absolute dream into the Relkio last time, and they just got away. Dashwood Drash was Frank the Form. He ran an absolute blinder in the
Cleve Hurdle.
The Paisley Park race. He ran
the Paisley Park race.
Yeah, it is really, isn't it? And then I think off 1-5-2, he's definitely the best horse in the race. Whether he can carry that to victory is or not, but I'd definitely wait until the extra places come out, because you're pretty much certain. Orcan Risk as well, Ash. There's 3. I'm basically going through the whole field here. Orcan Risk.
Yes, you
returns to fields. Returns to hurdles off 1-3-8. His chase mark is 1-4-5, so he could be £7 better off than what he is. Over fences. Done. Orcan Risk, First Street, and Hacker de Plas.
Hacker de Plas, very interesting, obviously. They liked him the last day, obviously, when they beat Might Eye. They've had this race in mind for all season, I believe. And they said they'd happily go straight to this race with him, but they didn't get a run in at Christmas. Things didn't work out for them, so they had to get the run in at Cheltenham. And he's won. He's been given £5 extra to carry, so that's all fair. We'll see how he goes. Gin Coco is obviously going to run a massive race. I still think he's well handicapped off 1-3-8, but 1-3-5, sorry, but he's priced accordingly at 6-1. There's 2 horses I like, Harry, 2 horses, and you've gone down the right line with First Street as he's left the room, so I can't even give him flack for this one. He's gone down the right line, but Colonel Mustard is the one I've landed on. Was third in the county hurdle, won by State Man, and First Street was ahead of him. That was off a mark of 140 when Connor Orr was taking off £3. They've really had this sort of race in mind, I think, for this horse. He's second to John Bonn in last season's Kennel Gate. Connections have had this race in mind, and he's fairly treated off 143. I think he's going to be a real player now. Colonel Mustard, 12-1. And I'll give you one that's 2 points shorter. It's the other Paul Nichols runner in this lineup. Rubord was second to Rare Edition the last day. Soft ground maybe didn't suit to him because he's won twice on good beforehand. It'll be good ground this weekend. Still on mark at 130. Very young horse, only 5. We'll see how he goes, but I think he could be sort of one of the most unexposed horses in this lineup. So there's 2 from me. Lee, Betfair Hurdle, is there one that's attracted your eye currently?
I did think Rubord had a chance, Ash, to be fair. I thought it was a good run the last day, and like you say, is a bit better ground maybe help him. One more for the road I thought was probably overpriced, but I do like Monvial. Had a couple of entries but didn't get declared. Had a long time off now, went up £10 for its Ascot run. Can see that one run well, but I do like Gin Coco. Went up £5 for the last day, but I think travelled the best in the race. Just got outstayed by I Like to Move It, who's obviously previously won at Cheltenham and just powered onto the line. But look, travelled like a dream, and I think this flatter track and better ground will suit Gin Coco. I'll take Gin Coco. Look, that Filey Bay could be. It got put up £9 for the last day. It could have £20 in hand. We don't know. JP's bought him. Look, if you are in the parade ring, you're seeing JP with his water money, then maybe you want to get stuck in, but I don't know. Look, we don't know what he's going to have.
Lads, would the form of the Great would be a worry to you then? Obviously, I know he travelled sweet. They pulled a good way clear of Harbour Lake, but since then, the form has been gash from the Greatwood. So you basically line your hopes on he's better than 135. Does he have a lot more than 135 of what he showed?
Yes.
I think he does.
I think so. Where's sort of like, so obviously I Like to Move It is lost the next day, but you can argue that
he got tonked.
Wrong distance, wrong ground.
You'd still like to see a horse that wasn't beat by 23 lengths.
They've pulled an absolute mile away, though. I know Harbour Lake's come out and pulled up behind West Balboa in the Lanzarote, so that's not maybe the best.
There, like you cannot really take that as a free reflection because only 4 finished in that race.
Yeah, but then Harbour Lake's gone on to finish 4th behind Romeo Brown, who's rated 124. So it's
No, we'll see when the day comes. I'm sure.
I just think one might be a little bit skinny for a horse who hasn't really shown that much.
Well, if you're worried about this year's Greatwood Hurdle, why not back some form from the last year's Greatwood Hurdle with No Ordinary Joe? Why not? Hey, why not? I also think Tritonic's quite interesting as well. He's sort of like fairly handicapped now. I think he's back down to a winning mark, and he's still only young. It feels like Tritonic's been around for like years, but he's still only 6, so like he could be really interesting, and I'm sure he's got plenty of years left in the legs. We'll go over to Warwick for the Kingmaker. We can keep this conversation fairly short, I'm sure, because John Bonn is at the top of the market. 1-4 drifted out now to 2-5, so very interesting there for the JP Romanos runner Nicky Henderson. Tommy's Oscar 5-1, and Hamilton, Alex de Zobo, Gary Moore 6s, Base Rock, Sandy Thompson 20s, and Calico for the Skelton team. Already jocked up his Harry 33-1. Only the 5 in this race currently. We could feasibly see this be a 3-runner race, a 2-runner race, and there'd be no each way places. So is there scope to back one each way ante-post? Harry, what would you be leaning towards? Is it just John Bonn, or can you see anything hitting the frame?
I'm not even thinking about the frame. I'm just thinking the fact that I'm not going to put my money on John Bonn at 2-5 because more than likely, the way things are going at the minute, the kiss of death will be applied and somehow he'd be turned over. Now, I just hope he just produces. He's such a good jumper. He's exuberant over his fences. He's quick. He's definitely improved. And listen, he goes into the Arkle after winning this, fingers crossed, as an unbeaten chaser. And he takes all the beating in that Arkle, I'm afraid. If Tommy's Oscar overturns that form, then my God, I'm giving up the game.
please, Tommy's Oscar, please do us all a favour. Lee, John Bonn, short conversation.
Yeah, look, I was just going to say that Alex de Zobo, I think he'll go off in front like the last day, and it'll be interesting because then it gives John Bond something going forward for the Oracle, because the likes of Dysart Dynamo and that stuff will blast off. So obviously a bit different tactics, but
I don't think they will. I don't think they will, Lee,
I-
because like you look at it, Alex Zopo was in that race against Third Time Lucky. He never wants to be anywhere near the pace. John Bond, he's quick over his fences. So if it gets to 2 fences, maybe Alex Zobo might take him along. But then if you're Aidan Coleman, do you then sit behind him or do you just let him go?
I don't know if but so it's more about the Oracle. Then would you just say that he's going to pelt off in front? He's not maybe he's going to get to the front in the Oracle. I don't know.
There's no way. You look at the Supreme; they were that quick. You could argue Dysart Dynamo and John Bond, and it takes a bloody quick one to keep up with Dysart Dynamo over the first 2 miles. And they did. They went a really good clip, and listen, he shows that he can jump fences to prove it as well. So I just don't know how they live with him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he does go off in front and what sort of the pace angles are for the rakes. I'm the one I'm actually excited to see out is Alex Zobo. Like, I'm not saying he's going to go and win because John Bond's going to be a fairly immovable object at the top of the market, but it's just like there's a small part of me. It's just like, does John Bond, like what the ground might do at Warwick? I'm sure it's good soft now, so I'm sure he will be going to the race. But like, it's just a case of like Alex Des Osebo is probably the second best horse in this race in my books. Like, he was really good at Warwick the last day, really, really good in the handicap chase off a marker 136. Gave the field, gave Gallop de Chasse for Nisha Williams £14. Absolutely kicked that into touch. Third Time Lucky was back in third. That form's been franked. So yeah, I'm really just interested to see how Alex Zobo goes, to be honest, and that'll probably be the most I'll take out of the race, because John Bond, we know a fair amount about him currently.
Do you think he'll lead or not than John Bond? Or I think that Alex Zobo has only got one way of going, so that's the only reason that he's going to pelt off.
I could see John Bond going. I could see John Bond making this, because good horses, they want to try and make their own pace. If they sit too slowly, they can get caught a little bit, and someone goes a bit too quickly and goes a bit too soon. They just don't catch him. And you saw it with Facile Vega in his first 2 runs over hurdles. Like, he had to make it. And you could see John Bond doing that. It is a fair field, but like, it's maybe not up to John Bond quality. So maybe he goes and makes it. I don't see why he wouldn't, because he's made all in his last 2. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. That is probably the interesting angle to bring into it. But I'd be lying if I said I've had a strong look into the pace angles for that race. Let's look at other bets for the weekend, gentlemen. I have one, and I'm happy to go for it. First of all, go to the 150 at Newbury on Saturday.
That's
JBY. Sorry?
My race too, come on.
Yeah, JBY for Alan King, 12-1. Think he's now back down to a really winnable mark. He was third when looking like the winner at Market Raisin in May, off £3 higher. He'll like the good ground. There'll be a lot in here he'll be liking to win, like Glimpse of Gala. Obviously won the Thames qualifier now for market 137 for Charlie Longston. There's plenty in here who will be like, may have other engagements, or they maybe want to sort of get higher in the handicap to get into the nice handicaps later on in the spring festivals. And I think JBY could just pick him off here, falling through the weights. That Market Raisin run was back in May, as I said, off of market 131. That back down to 128. The ground looks like it'll be right to his strengths there. And I think he's a really, really nice one now. So JBY for market 128 will be mine at 12-1. Lee, are you siding with me or against me?
I'm against you, just because, look, it's a little bit of a cliff horse for me. I backed it a few times. I think he's very well handicapped. It is for David Maxwell, who is a great lad for the game, but look, he rides a bit shotgun for me. But look, Jatta Louis, I think, is still well handicapped. Won off 135 before, 137, down to 135 now. He's beat the likes of West Cork and stuff in the past. And look, I just think he's very well handicapped, so he could go well at the price. I think he's around 12s, Ash, but yeah, look, I don't know about the fate of David Maxwell, but look, this horse is well handicapped.
But just sort of interesting in that race, Revels Hill is also entered. There's a horse that David Cross spoke about in our video as potentially going to one of the handicaps. at the festival. Rated 130 over hurdles, 137 over fences. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. It is also declared for Doncaster on Thursdays. I'm just looking at the screen there. Don't know whether that's a chase race. No, it is a hurdle race. So they're probably just maybe trying to get him sort of fit for the festival, or they might try to get him up a couple of pounds in the handicap. While we're on the topic of that, actually, I had a little search earlier for a horse that was mentioned by David Cross as a winner the next day. Does everyone remember Royal Dance that he mentioned? It's finally declared. It's declared for a race. Thursday, 4:18 at Fosslas, 2.5 mile mares. Novices Hurdle. We've got the likes of Hidden Beauty in there, Bombay Sapphire for Nicky Henderson, Picnic in the Park for Harry Fry. David Cross said that this horse wins the next day. So highlighting it now, this video will be going up Thursday morning.
Boots, everybody.
This video will be going up on Thursday morning. We're recording on Tuesday night. Prices aren't there, so we'll see what price she opens. Harry, do you have any other bets for the weekend? If not, what will be your best bet?
Well, I lied. I said Uttoxeter wasn't the home of champions, and I did lie, because Lucia is currently entered for the 135 in the Mares Novices Hurdle. Whether she goes, or I think she might be going to Exeter on Sunday, so that could be a little worry. Other than that, the Russia counter's out. I have a love affair with this horse. I just love him so much. He just has his own way of doing things, and I just think it's hilarious. But Emma Lavelle, listen, it's quite a tough handicap chase, I'd say. So I'd probably stay clear of that one. But there was one at Warwick, and lads, I don't know how you've missed out on this, but Love Envoy is 4-5. Win the listed race, the Mares Hurdle. I think that's a value and a half if she goes. If not, I would probably be siding with Molly Ollie's Wishes to get back on track. And 11-1, if Love Envoy doesn't go, I think she is a massive price.
I think Love Envoy is definitely going. I stay so.
Well, 4-5.
I think it's a good bet.
You just look at these shorties. You've got Love Envoy, John Bomb, Grenadier.
There's your treble, Harry. There's your treble.
You know, keep it short.
Keep it short, keep it sweet. 4-5 Love Envoy for the 205 Warwick Mares Hurdle. Was that the race won by Marie's Rock last year?
Yes, it was. Sorry, I'm just going out of the room.
Harry, from the distance, he tells us that it is.
Don't won the Kingmaker, didn't he?
Yes. Harry's full of knowledge. So David Cross told us that on the video a couple of weeks back. They'll go for this race, and it's nice to see the horse is declared. And I believe, gentlemen, that's all we have time to cover. We've covered everything to talk about. If you haven't already, do please go check out our Cheltenham ante-post videos. The one dropped on Tuesday morning, not Monday morning. That was with, as I said, Dermot Nolan from Race Hour. It was a really good episode. So nice bets, fingers crossed. I put a one for the Gold Cup. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. But gentlemen, we've got a competition running lead. Do you want to quickly recap what competition we've got going?
Yeah, from Racing Tees, we're doing every week. We have a John Bond jump. So I'll get that out. You just got to retweet and also follow at Racing Tees One it is, and Only Fools the Forces, and also click and subscribe. I have some bad news for you all, guys. Come on,
those that are watching. Obviously, we have a John Bond jumper, but unfortunately for everyone that's listening, we have fixed the draw and it's coming to my house instead. So if you could just like and subscribe, that'd be brilliant.
Look, this is, you can't replace that tattoo of Facile Vega with the John Bond jumper, you know that.
Well, I'll just have to get a tattoo of John Bond on me. That's the
Someone's already got one. You're too late.
Let them have it.
Harry, it's gonna be quite funny when John Bond loses in the Arkle. I'm just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. Make sure to go enter the competition.
Who wins the Arkle, Ash? Who wins the Arkle?
Oh, we're not talking about this. We're not talking about this.
If John Bond doesn't win, who wins? Who wins this Arkle?
I don't know. Nelson River for Tony Carroll. There you go. There's the winner of the Arkle for you, lads. Get stuck in. So please do like and subscribe. As Harry said, the video we've posted recently is going well for views and likes. So if we can get to 100 likes or even 125, That'd be fantastic. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. Do follow the Only Fools Love Horses account that you can see in the bottom right there, over there somewhere. Go and follow the account down there. Make sure to tune in on Saturday for our Saturday live. I'm not sure what time it'll be yet, but we'll sort that out. Do like and subscribe, follow us on Twitter, and have a good weekend with the horses.